Hello and welcome back to Runderground, running every metro system. It's a special day today because today is the last day that I'm running the Elizabeth line, which is absolutely wild to think about. But today's run, we are going from Hayes and Harlington, finishing at London Liverpool Street. It's about 32 kilometres. There's so much to take in on this run today, so stick around for this episode of Runderground. So having recently left Hayes and Harlington Station, we are now running adjacent to the Grand Union Canal, a canal which we have indeed ran along before. I do feel a bit sentimental at the minute, one because it's obviously the last day of running the Elizabeth line, but also recently it was the channel's 1 year anniversary, the 1 year birthday, which is just wild to think about. If you've not watched my 1 year special bonus video, check it out up here. But yeah, I just feel very sentimental, very sentimental. So I have come to this little junction here. We are going to be following the Paddington branch of the Grand Union Canal, where we then branch off. We're going to soon get to our next station of the day. I'm pretty certain it's HANWELL? I'm not quite sure. Oh, SOUTHALL. I think it's SOUTHALL actually. Okay, so at this point we are going to branch away from the Grand Union Canal, but we are going to be revisiting the canal a bit later on. If all goes to plan, we'll see. We're going to head over to the next station, SOUTHALL. So 3.96 kilometres, just made it to SOUTHALL, similar to that of Hayes and Harlington. They've got the brand new station building that is due to be open eventually. Right, let's go to the next station. Now before we get to Brent Lodge Park, we're passing through SOUTHALL Park, which used to have a former manor in the grounds, but then the council had bought it in the early 1900s to build a lake in the 1920s, and now it's an open green space for the local people to enjoy. I'm not local, but I would very much like to enjoy this park. You were seeing that sign, I was going to be concerned, but I've actually been hit in the face before with balls. I know sometimes on like YouTube and that there's a bit of a fault, but you see that red thing just down at the bottom there, that should actually be grey. So you just need to click on where it's red, just click on it, it'll turn grey and that'll clear the fault, and then everything should be working all right. And this just behind me is Brunel's Wharncliffe Viaduct. Now it was built between 1836 to 1837. This was also the first major engineering work to take place on the Great Western Main Line. Let's see if we can get a closer look. Now what's special about this viaduct here is that it was the first viaduct ever to use a structural technique of what's called hollow piers. Hence all the echoing. But it is fascinating to come and marvel at some of Brunel's finest engineering work. Absolutely spectacular. So that was a bit of a detour to get there, but totally worth it. I'm very glad that I did. I'd be kicking myself if I didn't do that. All right, let's get to HANWELL, our next station, which is just a couple of 100 metres away, I think. 8.45 kilometres, we've got 23 kilometres remaining. Very nice. West Ealing, here we go. Alright, so here we are at the brand new station entrance of West Ealing Station. So we are 10.5 kilometres in, we've got 21.3 k's remaining, which is about like a half marathon left. That is what it is. You've actually, at West Ealing, you've got the branch line from here over to Greenford, which connects with the Central Line, if you are not familiar. I believe there's also a parliamentary service here too. Right, so at this point we're going to keep on following this road along. We are going to head next over to EALING Broadway, which I believe also has a brand new station, which also has a brand new station entrance there too. Let's check it out. Technically, EALING Broadway Station has two former disused stations on its grounds now. You've got the one that's just here, you've got the other one that was obviously the old entrance, and now the newest entrance that has just recently opened. At this point we're going to head over to, I think it's Acton Mainline Station that's next. It feels like it's getting more human now. I'm just like wiping sweat off after like every 2 seconds. You look familiar. Alrighty, Acton Mainline Alright, so we're now going to drop into Paddington, but there is actually another Crossrail station before Paddington. But before we do that, little stat update, 15.2 kilometres, we've got about 16 kilometres remaining, so halfway point-ish from here. Yeah, skip and going. Alright, so where it is that I'm crossing right now is the London Overground. So I know I mentioned briefly about there being another station going on Crossrail before Paddington. I'm of course referring to Old Oak Common. Now there are developments that are currently taking place for Old Oak Common Station. But anyway, let's see if we can take a closer look at Old Oak Common. So what I'm running directly adjacent to is going to be the future station of Old Oak Common. So for HS2 to the Elizabeth line, mainline services, it's going to be a proper hub. Wow, that was loud. Anyway, so as well as the main station building works that are happening here, there's also going to be Old Oak Common Overground station, as well as one on the other side, like the other branch of the Overground over to Clapham Junction. This area is just going to be massively transformed in the future, and it's just interesting to see it all at its foundation at the minute. Do you look at that? We're back at the Grand Union Canal. That just caught my attention there. So all of the development works that's happening here is for Old Oak Common Station. But it is fascinating to come to here, see all the works that's happening. Maybe I'll come back here in a few years and who knows, it'll be completely different. But for now, I'm going to focus back on running, and then we'll soon be over at Paddington Station. But the humidity is still killing me, man. Oh my God. Jesus, that was tough. I'm finally here at Paddington. Looking in today, you can see the purple roundel, the purple signage, everything. But as a start update, 24.2 kilometres have gone so far. We've got 8 kilometres exactly remaining until we get to Liverpool Street. So we're not too far away from the end now. It's just the central section and then we're all sorted. But that last bit, I don't know what happened. I just think it's from, yeah, I don't know what it is. Not gonna lie, pushing on. It was definitely very tough. Next station, Bond Street. So here we are at Bond Street Station. It's all happening here at the minute. You know what, it's crazy. Last time I was here was the Central line, I think. It's crazy to see just how much busier it is compared to last year when it was the lockdown. Tottenham Court Road. Farringdon, 2.5k remaining. Let's keep it going. I know we're going through this central section so far, but just behind me is St Bartholomew's, I can't even say it right because I'm really tired, St Bartholomew's Gatehouse. Now this gatehouse in particular is one of the few buildings from the Tudor times which has not been destroyed by the Great Fire of London. Now it is the entrance into one of the oldest churches in the city of London. Now apparently some of the posts that are in the attic of this building date back to as early as 1595. At the moment my legs and foot are in quite a bit of pain at the minute, so I am having a little walk, well, like a fast-paced walk. Right now we're walking adjacent to what was the former London Wall. We've also just passed the Museum of London as well. I can really admire the history that's in London. It's quite remarkable. Alright, let's see the Elizabeth line purple roundel finish is in sight. I ran every line and station that features on the London Tube until Thameslink come along. I'm absolutely shattered. I feel like as if I cannot even think at the minute, so let me sort all this out. Right, clearly I've sorted all of this out. But yeah, let's talk about tube map stuff. But had it not been for that pesky Thameslink, that today would have been officially the last day that I've successfully ran the entire London tube map. But Thameslink just decided to come along and make my challenge just a little bit more difficult. Thanks, Thameslink. Now I'm actually really looking forward to running Thameslink because there's so much of London that's now officially represented in the London tube map. So you've got parts of South East and South West London that's finally properly represented. Because if you're not familiar, Thameslink was previously on the London tube map back in, I think it was 1999, where the only sections covered were from Kentish Town over to London Bridge and Elephant and Castle. But now it's so much more than that. Now at first I was deciding, you know, should I run this, should I not? I've always said from the very beginning that I would be running every line and station that features on the London tube map. Thameslink is on the London tube map
So there we go. On that note, let's talk about a few stats, shall we? Now, I did actually have everything compiled into a spreadsheet. If you did want a link to that, I'll pop that in my website, runderground.run. That also has a map that shows all of the sections of the London Tube map that I've ran so far, if you do want to check that out. Now, with the stats, if we pretend as though that Thameslink wasn't on the tube map and today was the last day, that reflecting on everything so far, from running the London Underground, Overground, DLR, Elizabeth Line, trams and cable car, it has taken a total of 47 days. My total moving hours, if you're not familiar, moving time is the time that you were constantly running. It doesn't include any stops or anything like that. That's how long you're constantly moving for. Was 129 hours. And the total distance of running the entire London Tube map, apart from Thameslink, is... I can't believe I'm saying this. This is absolutely ridiculous. 1,141.72 kilometers. What the f? That is ridiculous. 1,100 kilometers. My mind is blown. My mind is blown. I just, yeah, that's a crazy number. Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. But next week there will be new videos where I am running Thameslink. That is featured on the London Tube map, so do stick around for that. Right next to my head is also a playlist where you can watch every single episode of Runderground so far, as well as other videos that you do wish to check out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for a brand new episode of Runderground. The roundel's covering my face, isn't it?